Well, guys, here we are again, and I'm assuming the position out here. It's, I don't know, maybe like 10 o'clock in the morning. It's pretty chilly out, about maybe a little over 40 degrees. It's overcast. Shouldn't be raining though today, but who knows, it might. I hope it doesn't though. And today I have something a little especial for y'all. And of course, you know the drill. 100 yards. And our little adventure today is going to be a little head-to-head competition here with two completely what I would consider over-the-top firearms, long guns, both of which you have seen from time to time on my different videos. And so to just kind of go over what we have here is, and it makes a couple comparisons. Of course, as you guys know, this is the Gruning, and like I say, fear the Gruning. Check this out, guys. Remember last time I was shooting at this with the Gruning, I thought I severed these hang down targets, right? Check this out. It did. Severed that sucker. Wow. That thing was about that long before. Took that one down, took it off, and the same with this one too. This thing was about this much longer. Severed that one too. Hit them both with a Gruning and Godzilla '06. That round is a killer on steel, even with just the match rounds. This was this was built by Gruning Precision of Riverside, California back in 2001. It has a pretty heavy 30-06 barrel on it, 27-inch long. This is a custom build, and for you guys back in the day when I was building high-performance engines, V8s, for basically Chevys and Fords, we did a process that was called blueprinting, which means that you're taking and you are the specifications. The engine is built to very tight specifications, very exacting specifications, and all the clearances are checked. Everything is fit together in a way that it will be absolutely as best as it can be. So, for lack of a better way to say it, this Gruning is a blueprinted rifle. It was custom built, of course, obviously. It was built initially for 1,000-yard shooting. And it's heavy, but it's a precision piece of equipment. It really is. Like I say, it's chambered in 30-06, but which I like because it's common. It doesn't take nearly as much powder to run rounds out of it as say a 300 Win mag, so it's a little bit more cost effective, but don't kid yourself. I have my pet load for this is what I call Godzilla '06. It's a 190 grain Sierra Match King round that comes out of this thing at about 3,000 foot a second, and that's nothing to sneeze at, even for a 300 Win mag. 27-inch barrel, featherlight trigger. Of course, Macmillan, I think it's, what is it, an A5 stock, I believe. And it's a beast. That's what I call it, the beast. It has a very nice Springfield Armory government model scope. It's a pretty stout scope. It's a 6 to 20 power, 56 millimeter objective lens. And it has tactical turrets that are for quarter MOA. It has great glass, parallax adjustment up front here like old school, has a illuminated reticle. It also has a bubble level in it, and it has a BDC reticle, which is not really built for target shooting, but it does the job. And so that's the setup on this one. I've shot it. I know this rifle is accurate. And then as a as a competitor to it, I have my Steyr. This is a very unique rifle. I can't begin to tell you how rare this rifle is because I'm not sure. I do believe like only 100 of them were imported into the United States. This was Steyr's original flagship as they rolled out their new SBS 96 their safety bolt system of 1996, which is when this rifle was built. They made this incarnation of the rifle for only 1 year. In subsequent years, they produced some they took this beautiful laminated stock and they painted it black, shortened the barrel by 4 inches, and chambered it in a 308. And that was a bastardization. But this is in its original configuration of a 7.5 by 5.5 Swiss cartridge, and as you can see, this thing is dab. It was intended to be shot with diopter sights at 300 meters in competition, and it's a great rifle. The difference, one of the main differences between the Gruning and the Steyr is that the Gruning, as precision as it is kind of like a small block Chevy in the fact that it's completely replaceable. It's just built on a Remington 700 action, and so it isn't like this rifle couldn't be duplicated. Where on the other hand, the Steyr, my understanding is they made less than 1,000 of these total for that first year of their safety bolt system. I'll see if I can and I heard, but there's so little information about these rifles online, it's even hard to tell what they might be worth. But I do know this is an incredibly made, it's made in Austria, incredibly made factory hot rod, for lack of a better way to say it. I would say optically it has a comparable scope. This is a loopholed 6 to 18 power target reticle, very X2, and it's also contemporary with the rifle. This scope was a contemporary of the rifle when they both came out about the same time, as was the Gruning with the Springfield Armory scope on it. The Steyr has an incredibly adjustable trigger on it. It's adjustable like 7 different ways, I believe. I have 2 original magazines with it. I have all the original documentation. So it's hard to put a value on it because there's almost no information about these rifles online other than they exist. So at any rate, both of these at times have shot completely off the hook. Just total beasts on accuracy. So today I figured for something to do while I'm killing off the rest of this week before the New Year's, I thought I'd run want to do a little comparison, just A and B them, for just see who can produce generally the best groups. And so that's what my video is going to consist of today. And I got a little bit of setting up to do yet, so I'm going to get after that, and let's see if we can't do some shooting. Okay guys, I think I'm going to start off with the Gruning, as it happens to be on the bench already. Got my chronograph set up too. I want to see if I can get some velocities. I got my 2 loads here I'm going to use. I got my pet load, 190 grain Sierra Match King on top of 60 grains of reloader 22, 190 grain coming out of this barrel about 3,000 foot a second. So I've nicknamed this round Godzilla '06. And then something a round I just put together, something I just decided to put together this morning, 200 grain Sierra Match King on top of 56 grains of Vitavori 165. That's primarily the one I'm concerned about to see. I'm curious to see what kind of velocities that will generate. And so that's what we're going to start off on. I got to go bring my other camcorder downrange so we can get some downrange shots. So all right guys, here we go. I'm just going to because I'm shooting for group, I'm not terribly concerned about where the absolute zero is on it. It'll probably be reasonably. It'll be reasonably close to my point of aim. But I'm shooting. I want to shoot for group. Cold clean barrel. I'm going to shoot a 5-shot group. I'm going to use this one on the right side of the target, the bottom right diamond. That is point of aim high and 2 inches right. I hope the chronograph can pick up the stuff today. There's no sunlight to speak of. It's basically right next to my first shot, almost touching it. It's good. 2846. There you go, that one registered. And I do believe that one went through my second shot. .2861. You can tell the ammunition is cold today. On a hot day, well, you've seen it. It'll go up around 3,000 foot a second. Okay, that one's a little bit left of my first 3. That one shows a reading, 2875. Go. That is 5. 2902. It's hauling along right there, isn't it? Okay guys, let me go down range. I'm gonna check my target and do a little measure on it. Okay, there we see it. There's 5 rounds there. There's 2 that went exactly through that hole right there, but it's my first shot, second, third shot, fourth, and 5th. I would say elevation wise, that's 3/4 MOA, and windage wise, I give it, looks like it's just slightly over 1 MOA, maybe just about 1 MOA. So, alright, let me set up and I'm going to try the Steyr now. Okay guys, you saw the Gruning do its thing. Of course, that was just I consider that a warm-up group. This one is, and I loaded up for the Steyr. I brought some GP11 ammo too. I want to run this. This rifle, I believe, was built to shoot GP11 ammunition, as it so states on the magazine. But so I brought some of that. I want to give it a fair shake. But in the meantime, I loaded up some 178 grain Hornady ELDX. Supposed to have a very high ballistic coefficient. ELD means extremely low drag. I've got it on top of 47 grains of reloader 17. Now, a piece of GP11 ammunition I've discovered uses 49 grains of reloader 17, but because of the nature of the bullet, I believe the bullet itself is of such a design that it will mitigate spike pressures within the barrel at the chamber because of its dimensional design. Okay, I think we're online. Like I say, I'm not too concerned terribly about the absolute zeroing of the round. I'm just more concerned about the groups that it's going to shoot. Let's see what kind of velocity that generated. 2433. So definitely not hot. However, it does look like that's quite a bit low, so I may have to bring the turret up on it. I believe the last time I shot this, I was shooting some 150 grain rounds out of it, and I zeroed it for that, so obviously you know what happens then. So let's see, I'm about maybe 2 1/4 inches low, so I want to go 8-10 clicks. Let's go 10 clicks up. So that first shot I'm going to take with a grain of salt. I'm not going to count it in the group. Yep. There we go. 2440. That's good enough for government work at this point, which nowadays ain't saying much because our government has set a pretty low bar. But you didn't hear that from me. 2449, they're consistent. I'll give them that. Okay, that guy is touching my first shot after the elevation adjustment. Slightly below, directly below, about a ½ inch, I think. I think that went through my first 2 shots. Okay, one more to make it a 5-shot group. Like I say, I'm not counting that first one because the elevation was so far off that it's not looking too bad right there. That is not looking too bad at all. 2451. That round, the velocities are definitely consistent as hell. Okay, there's our group with the Steyr. And of course, this round, like I said, that was my very first shot. It was so way low, I'm not counting that one because I gave the elevation adjustment to the scope. But there's my 5 rounds. 3 rounds, and 4th and 5th, I believe. And I give that maybe just like half MOA on the windage, and I give it 1 MOA elevation. Like I say, so I think on a very splitting hairs, nitpicky way, because of its closer windage versus the Grunig's closer. It's closer windage. I give the Steyr on round 1 just a slight edge over the Gruning. Okay. Okay, that was round 1. It was round 1. I give a tiny little bit edge to the Steyr because it slightly had tighter windage than the Gruning had elevation, if that makes sense to you. However, that was using my Godzilla /6 round, which is a steel target destroying bullet. I have a feeling that if I were to take that same round and just take a couple grains of powder out of it and genteel it up a little bit, it would probably demonstrate a little bit better accuracy. But I built that round especially for max velocity. I was kind of curious to see, and it shot pretty well. So, and I loaded quite a few of them at the time, so I still have some of those I'm using. But now I'm going to try something that I've never had in this rifle before. This is a 200 grain Sierra Match King. I've shot 200 grain Sierras out of this before, but never used in Vitavori powder. This is N165 powder, 56 grains of that. CCI bench rest primers. And for your information too, these rounds are loaded 25 thousandths off the lands, as are the rounds in the Steyr. They're loaded about 25 thousandths off the lands also. So I'll be curious to see what how this does. I did give the turret 3 clicks of windage to the left, because obviously my first group with 190 grainers was you know, shooting right. That looks like a good gentle load there. 25-22, very conventional. Of course, that is a 200 grain bullet. And let's take a look and see where that one went. It's not bad. That's right beneath my first shot. 25-41. Looks like we got a battle of the slowpoke bullets going on here. That is right there also. 25-26. Strung them along the top there. Okay, I'm going to take and move my turret down though. 25-25. Well, there's my last 5 with that same load I've never tried before. So its elevation is good. I give that like half MOA elevation. Windage is a little bit goofy. Although this is my last round, I think I pulled that one a little bit. But we're going to have another go with that load here again. So let's go back. I think I'm going to finish off this target over here using the Steyr. Okay guys, it's the Steyr's turn at bat. This is using my Hornady 178 grain ELDX bullets again. I am, because my whole group was a little bit to the left, same as it was with the yep, that is right there. Yep. Does seem to be a fairly accurate load. I have to look. I think it kind of made one kind of ragged hole almost. Okay, well now that's more like it. 5 shots. That was my first one. That was a little bit separate of the group. Not bad though. I give it exactly 1 ML inch. These are inch squares. So I give it 1 inch elevation and half inch windage. But anyways, that's pretty good. Obviously round 2 goes to the Steyr also. Round 2 goes to the Steyr. The Steyr at this point is almost owning this Gruning. So this is, I'm going to change this up a little bit. I am going to shoot two consecutive 5-shot groups. I'm going to start with my Godzilla Odd 6, my 190 grain. round. And like I said, I'm going to shoot right side, diamond, lower right side. I think that went through one of my first two shots. From here I can't tell, which can't be all that bad. 29.55 again. Hitting one of those holes down there. 29.58. Wow. Wow. 29.56. Wow. I think I got 4 rounds through one hole. Alright, this is the 200 grains here at Match Kings on top of the 56 grains of Vitavori 165. Identical to the first shot with a 190 grain bullet. I'm running these strings consecutively, these two groups consecutively, so we kind of get an idea what it'll do when the barrel gets a little warmed up. Wow. I think we're working on the same hole down there. 25.48. Wow. It's two pretty darn good groups. Okay guys, there's 5 rounds with the 190 grains out of the Gruning. There's 4 rounds right there. Had one get over here. So that might be its mitigating factor. I give it half inch windage, and I give it one inch elevation. There's 4 rounds right there. Unless 2 of them went through that, but I don't think so. But at any rate, I give this one, I give it ½ inch elevation and 3/4 inch windage. That's pretty tight, that's not bad. And like I say, out of these two groups, there's 4 rounds there and 4 rounds there. Just taken by themselves, that is almost unbeatable. Okay guys, time to warm up the Steyr now. You saw the Gruning start to hit its stride. Might be a situation where the thing needed to get a little bit fouled and maybe warmed up some. So I'm going to shoot 2 consecutive groups again with the Steyr. This is going to be my hand loads first. 178 grain ELDX bullets. Believe me, getting old ain't all it's cracked up to be. I wish, it seems like I get older a lot faster than I get wiser. Yep, it's right there where the last group left off. know they're fairly, they sit pretty well on the bags. Both of them have a pretty flat base to the stock, but it's not without no movement at all, so I still have to do my part and drive the rifle. Hey, it's 5:24:69. Let's bust out some GP11. $25.55. That's good. Go down and take a look at these things. We might have a little match here now. The Steyr and my hand loaded 178 grain ELDX. Nice. I give it. That's one inch by 1 inch. That's a 1 inch by 1 inch, and that was compared to the Gruning. Although I think the Gruning has this little bit of a flyer here, I'm going to have to give the edge to the Gruning on this one because there's 4 rounds through one single hole there. Not a ragged hole either, pretty much a straightforward hole. So I'm going to have to give that round 3, to the Gruning. And of course this is the GP11 ammunition. It's kind of interesting to see how it even cuts a little different hole, that GP11 stuff. But I am looking here, there's 3 there. That looks like that's probably 3/4 inch windage and probably a little over 1 inch elevation wise. I give that round to the Gruning also. 2 rounds to the Steyr, 2 rounds to the Gruning. Interesting. I think I'm going to beat up on the steel a little bit. Well guys, I was going to shoot the steel, which is kind of an arbitrary thing. There's no definitive location on it or anything, just kind of hitting the steel. However, somebody has been kind enough to leave several clays out there. I think I'm going to take some shots with that at those, just to see how these 2 things do. And I'm looking at my targets at 100. Would appear the GP11 windage wise is right on target. Shoots a little bit high, and so behind the berm at 200, behind the post is the berm at 200. And so I'm going to see if I can't make a clean hit on these clays. Well, it does look like there's a couple of those clay pigeons out there are thumbing their nose at me. And you know how I hate that. So the Steyr took 2 shots at 2 of them and hit each of them. So that's good. And so now I am going to see if I can duplicate that with, this might be the This might be the deciding factor right here because we had a tie on the match between the two. This is with 190 grains here. Match Kings Godzilla /6.